loud, but we're just going to relax and enjoy the bitter winter weather here in San Antonio, Texas. Does that sound like a deal?
Yeah.
Let me start you off here on the left-hand side of the boat. A couple of really good restaurants here, y'all. The Little Ryan Steakhouse and the Fig Tree. And what's really kind of interesting here are the buildings. You can see they look like old houses, right? That's exactly what these used to be. These are the old houses of the Germans who developed this area in the 1850s. It's called... Have y'all seen a few Christmas lights left up? And show you the oldest and largest one of them in just a few minutes. They're called bald cypress trees because they're deciduous. A lot of people walking around over here. I want you to know that these people are called lost people. You look at them, they don't have any maps and they don't have any clues. They're just kind of... All right. These two lost people are sitting on a heart-shaped island here on the right-hand side. This is Marriage Island, y'all. We average at least one wedding a day here, several on Valentine's Day. One of our boat captains swears it's lucky to be married here, but of course he had his own wedding here himself on 4 separate occasions. Hey guys, this is my friend Ted here on our left. That's a taxi boat. It's a great way to get around on the Riverwalk if you're sick of walking around. On our right-hand side, this is the Westin. It's where your favorite NBA basketball teams stay when they come here to play the Spurs. Are there any Lakers fans on the boat? That's good. This is the end of the boat ride for Lakers fans. And right in front of us is a really nice view of the Riverwalk. The red brick building way in the back there is my home away from home. It's called the Dare County Courthouse. Built in 1896. It's one of the largest and longest continuously running courthouses in the United States. Now watch what I do here, you guys. I'm going to turn the boat to the left so that y'all can all see most people's favorite building on the Riverwalk, which is way up high on the left-hand side. It's called the Tower Life Building, my friends. It was built in 1929 by a pair of stockbrokers. Not a good year. Stockbrokers to build buildings. 3 months after they built this, they had to auction it off for $27,000. A lot of people have ridden with us before and have not heard that that's where Dwight D. Eisenhower was stationed when they gave him the news about Pearl Harbor. Mike had an office in there on the 7th floor. 135 miles back to the Gulf. Okay, so when we're done with the tour tonight, I'm just going to take you guys to Cancun, if that's okay. We do have two very small man-made sections of the Riverwalk. This is the first man-made part we've been on so far. It's got some high walls. It's a flood channel. It's only 800 feet long. Okay. And while we're here, I want to go ahead and tell you the story about the Riverwalk because it all started with a flood that we had in 1921. Have you guys had a chance to walk around a little bit? Is the Riverwalk a little bigger than you thought it would be? Y'all know it's 3.7 miles, right? There are 3 separate dead ends, so when you walk around, you want to bring a map. Don't get lost like that lady in front of us up there. That's what it looks. We are extending the Riverwalk up that way. That's what that part of the river is. Over the next 7 years, we're going to add 3 miles. So I want to be the first to invite you all back. Come see us in about 7 years. This is going to be a long boat ride. Think it'll be the same price?
No.
And the tree in front of us here, this is the oldest and largest tree on the Riverwalk. Not 9 stories tall, about 350 years old. There is a legend that General Santa Anna used this tree for snipers during the Battle of the Alamo, and that supposedly that worked until Colonel William Barrett Travis ordered his men to go to the 7th floor of the Holiday Inn. We're going to other side of the river is the Drury Inn, which was a brand new building when the flood hit. Remember I said that water was 8 feet higher than the street. Back then, this building was our electricity company in San Antonio, so it worked out if you had a past due electricity bill. You guys having a pretty good Friday?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
It's pretty hard not to enjoy yourself when you're here in San Antonio. The weather's like 26. They still have the Wurlitzer pipe organ in there. That's a really cool place, you guys. The Aztec. Right next door to the Aztec, a lot of my passengers are surprised. That's the highest rated hotel on the Riverwalk, right there. Watermark Hotel. And what puts it over the top is their spa. So if any of you need a massage or you want to hit the spa for a day while you're here, you might want to check that out. But the building is a lot older than that, obviously. This is an old saddle factory built in 1901. You guys remember who Pancho Villa was? He used to come here himself and buy his own saddle, the L. Frank Saddlery, until 1923. And on the other side of the river, you have even more history. It's a much older building. It's a 155-year-old building, you guys. This is the most famous hotel on the Riverwalk today. It's called La Mansión del Río, the Mansion of the River. That was the St. Mary's University Law School up until we had a big event in San Antonio in 1968. Anybody know what we had here in 68? No? We had the World's Fair, you guys. It's a pretty big deal. 7 million people showed up for that World's Fair. So we're going to talk a lot about the World's Fair as we go along. 1968, but we got a nice hotel out of it. La Mansión del Río, the Mansion of the River.
Oh, yeah,
Alright. Now obviously, that's not just a wall. It's a hospital. That's the Nix Hospital, built in 1930. It's where Tommy Lee Jones was born. Carol Burnett was born here. Oliver North was born here. I was not born next to this, you guys. Most of the night spots on the Riverwalk are right here. So if you're going to go out later, you want to scout it out early. It's Friday night, so some of the lines can get pretty long. A lot of fun. Now, if you're going to start with the Alamo, which is a good idea, especially with the weather's like this, let me tell you this, and I'll save you a little walking. You just got to remember I said this. The quickest way back and forth between the Alamo and the Riverwalk is the hotel in front of you right here. It's the Hyatt Regency Hotel, which is so close to the Alamo, if it were any taller, it would cast a shadow on the Alamo, which is illegal. Y'all know that? It's kind of weird. It's against the law for buildings to cast shadows on the Alamo. That's why they never made the Hyatt any taller when they built it in 1981. One of my favorite things about the Hyatt is the jazz music we're about to listen to right in front of the boat comes out of a world-famous jazz club called Jim Cullum's The Landing. Y'all heard of this? They're on NPR every Saturday night. They've been playing jazz on the Riverwalk for 45 years now. If you like jazz music, check this out. Jim Cullum's The Landing. Alright. Well, we talked about miscongeniality. What about the movie Roots? Y'all remember that movie? You remember the guy who wrote the book, Alex Haley? He lived on the Riverwalk, you guys. He lived in the building here on our right. It's the only apartment complex on the Riverwalk. It's called the Casino Club building. Even though it's not a casino and it's not a club. It's always been apartments. They built that back in 1927. But don't you think that'd be a pretty cool place to live?
Yeah.
Lots. I don't know how much because no apartment ever comes up for lease. I know somebody who lives there and they inherited the lease from the grandmother. So can't get it. Almost impossible. But if you did live there, you have to budget in. You're going to eat at a restaurant 3 or 4 times a day. You'd be right here. There are 35 restaurants right here, you guys. Y'all are getting ready to eat some dinner. You want to head over here. I know it's a lot of restaurants, right? I know it can be kind of hard to pick one. So if y'all need some advice or recommendations on where you should be eating, I'm happy to hang around and chat with you about restaurants when we're done. But one thing we all ought to be thinking about while we're here, have y'all seen the dinner boats? Have y'all seen those? You'll start seeing them at about 6 o'clock tonight. That's the way to do it, y'all. It's a lot less expensive to eat dinner on those boats than what people think. All you got to do is come over here and talk to the restaurants. They coordinate the dinner boats and they will get you. Or visit our website. It's RioSanAntonio.com.